So can I just say this? Women are hypocritical. I'll tell you why. When KG, wants to have a woman that pays more, you are quick to say sugar baby. You want, this guy only wants a woman to pay for him. He's not trying to hold his own. You had no problem slewing and slicing him, even in the comments, women going at him. You have no problem. The markers for what a man should be are different to what a woman should be. You guys have no problem. If I said to you date somebody in McDonald's, you'd be looking at me like it's mad. Kenny was definitely not dating someone in McDonald's. Okay, her level was definitely above that, and I've got no beef with that, right? Because she has a standard. You can't try and flip it and say men. I think honestly as well. Like I think we said this on the first episode we done on this live. And as much as even if Venetia's done work, I said this on the very first episode, it's the way you dress too is very important. If you're wearing tight, you better be tight, right? Because if I'm a man and I have man boobs and I wear a tight t-shirt, you're going to be looking at my t-shirt like, why is this guy wearing something so tight that his breasts are now showing through the t-shirt? Right? It's just the way it's presented. Whenever I look at Venetia, she's wearing something long and flowing. I don't know if the tummy is trim. I don't know if the tummy is trim.
She had on a crop top and sweatpants when she went to
the house.
To the house for breakfast. So you got to see her waist.
Okay, so is it trim? Because I wasn't paying attention when I saw it. I think I was looking at, no jokes, but I didn't pay attention. So I just remember them talking. Oni's laughing.
Yeah, it's trim. Like Bernicia is back. Like she is banging. Like
okay,
I don't take none of that away from her. Like she's banging.
That's fair enough. Okay, so she's trim, right? So, but the thing with Tressa is if you're not trim in the stomach area, can't wear things that are tight because people are going to look at you visually. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's your body's banging, but if this is not trim and you wear something that's tight, it's going to look bad. It's not going to look as effective as it needs to. So it's about dressing according to your shape because her shape is nice. If she just wore something a little bit more different, it bangs differently. Everything being tight, it don't look good because you're not in that particular shape. And I know, listen, this is going to be a painful conversation. I'm just being real because us men, this is a conversation we have in the background. But like, oh, girl's looking good, but you know what? Everything's tight and you're showing everything, but you're not tight, so it don't make sense. Do you know what I mean? So that's for me. I think if she just switched up the dress sense, bruv, she goes from another level.
Can I ask a question? I'm not gonna argue that point because I'm not a man. So it's not my market. But if she dresses for her body, whatever it is, and I'm speaking specifically because she's a curvy woman, and specifically because the society that we're in does not celebrate curvy bodies. Like But if she did all these things, won't the man who is with her take it all off and see what she's actually made of? So it's either he wants a curvy woman who is stacked like her, or he doesn't. What I'm trying to say is I'm not really sure if you're comparing Tressa and Bernicia, like I'm not sure, because I think so far after the first date, what Tressa has worn, like the right undergarments seem to be in place. So she seems to be looking okay, I'm not sure what other things she could do to be more attractive when her size is her size and what she's wearing is what she's wearing. And it's either you want that or you don't want that, because even if she's wearing a girdle and cinched like Kim Kardashian, he's going to take it all off and he's going to see she's got a gut and he's going to be like, is this hot or not? And he's not going to run away right there. Like I don't know.
It's the same thing with Khalil though. Presentation's everything. You're going on a competition. When it's Khalil, it's not a problem. We can say it. Khalil, you dress shabby. It's that simple. You went into a place and your suit was dripping off you. You looked shabby when you were there. It's a competition. It's real spit. As a teacher, fine. In a competition, compare him to what Asia was wearing. There is no competition. What Asia was wearing was fitted to the point, to the T. Everything looked in place, meticulous. Irrespective of if he was good looking or not, you saw the dress sense on point. And that makes a huge difference, not only to the person watching you, but actually to you too, because you feel more confident. Look, if you're a person who goes, I go to gym, right? Do you know why we wear tight tops? We want you to see the workout. We want you to see the bicep muscles. We want you to see the abs. We want you to see the chest because we've developed it, right? We want you to see it, get excited. That's precisely why we wear a tight ass top. Now, when I'm out of shape, I don't want to be wearing tight tops because that's the wrong message I'm sending there. I'm sending a message to you that I'm unfit, unhealthy. The difference doesn't change with women. It's the same thing, how men see other women too. You do it with men, and men do the same thing to women. So I'm not saying that it would have made an astronomical difference in the competition. I think she still would have gone home. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it was more about what energy she was carrying. But I'm saying about, if we're talking about first impressions on what you're wearing and stuff like that, that also plays a part into how people perceive you to be. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's my perspective as a male. I believe that's how we think. We see women, and that's how we think. If you dressed in a certain way, you get perceived in a certain way. So if it's going to be tight, you got to be tight.
But I think saying your dress, like in the case of Khalil, versus saying to a woman, if your belly's not tight, that is a little bit different for me.
Okay.
I think what it comes down to is that you have two, what we would call voluptuous, full-figured, or whatever a term you want to go with, women on the show. But yet, did you choose men on the show that are attracted to women that are built that way? Because if we take Joel out of the equation, who does Vern have?
I don't know who. No one else.
That's my whole point. Who's showing up for the Treshas? Who's showing up for the Verns? It would have been nice to have them pull candidates that liked women that look like Tressa and Vern. And then also have someone that liked them looking like Stacy and Chris and Alexis. But it kind of seems like to me, the majority of the men on this particular cast are not checking for Vern or Tressa. And again, without Joel even being there, have we even heard any of the other men mention anything about Vern?
Boom.
Because I haven't. And as a woman, I'm not even the same shape as those women, but my heart goes out to them. And I feel like they got set up in a way to be in front of men that don't like their body type. That's like me going to Joel and being like, hey, he'd call me all kind of stick figure women or whatever, because I'm not his flavor. And that's okay. So who am I for? Put me in front of the men that see me and want this. And that's what I feel sorry for with Vern and with Tressa. And that's why I made my initial comment about Vern, is because I'm like, but she's so much more than just a wonderful body. And at 4 episodes, I feel cheated that I haven't learned more about her. Because now you just make it feel like she's just there to be looked at. We can find her all day on the Explore tab if we just want to see a body. But this woman has depth. I haven't heard about her beauty salon. We ain't talked one time about what she does for a living on this show. Or it hasn't been shown, I'll say. Because I understand they're having conversations and that there's stuff being left on the cutting room floor. I just want more for us, y'all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not arguing one side of the argument or the other. It's just that, like, it gets a little touchy for me when you talk about how a woman needs to show up and represent her body. And I'm like, so what do men have to do?
Nice.
Because
that's not how it works.
AJ's not checking any boxes for me. So where's the dudes that I'm checking for?
Yeah, but that's not how it works. See, that's the thing. See, this is the beautiful thing. It doesn't work like that for you. You're not in favor. We're in the favorable positions. We are in the favorable position, 1, because we choose, and 2, because there's more of you than there is of us. So in some sense, you're gonna have to play the game. The show is, although it's a show, there is a part reality in this. Everybody's on that show because they couldn't find a partner, right? But in the reality of the real life is, when you are bigger, you dwindle your options. It's just that simple. I know it's not PC to say it, because it's like, like this is the whole conversation where Kevin Samuels comes into it, where it's like everything becomes very PC. It's like, everybody's a 10. Come off that. We're not all 10s. It's a lie. Your person. I had a video which I'm going to bring up, which is that bad character and banging personality can still take you outside the room, because men are not looking at that. Do you understand? What draws me first to you is how you look. That's the first thing that's drawing me to you. Women are looking at it from their perspective is, oh, you know what? Some guys, we have to look beyond the looks because, you know, we want to find the right kind of guy. I hear you. We don't have that problem. We're looking at your face. We're looking at your body. And then we're looking inside into your heart. So for us, that's how we look at it. I know it's shallow. It is shallow, but that's the truth of men. So when I'm looking at the competition, do you know why I can tell someone's an alpha male? Just because they look good. Because I know how the women too are also looking. Right? But then when they get to a certain point, they look beyond that. Men don't. They take a longer time before they look into the heart. They look first, okay, she banging, she got a body. That's why he never went out of Tressa. That's the honest truth why he never went out of Tressa. He was not attracted. He said it with the guys like, oh, she's a queen, she's this, she's that. All of that was lovely spiel. It was a sermon, it was a monologue. But in the end, you never went on a date with her. Not once. He waited to the very end and you're rubbing her arm like, you know, baby, you know, I can't even look at you. You're so pretty. Come off it, bro. Come off it, bro. I'm a man. I know exactly what you're doing, bro. Just you softening the blow, but you never were interested. So that's what I'm saying. Like this is how us men are thinking. This is how.
Yeah, but these broad strokes, and I agree with Shanae on the fact that there are men out there who find Tressa attractive.
Okay.
I agree.
And for there to be such a broad stroke, like all men need you to look a certain way in the body, that's just not true. Because while all the other guys aren't checking for Venetia, Joel is. So like that's his type. But where was Tressa's type in this whole scenario? This was not a safe space for Tressa because, you know, a guy who's attracted to her wasn't even present. You know, and I don't like the Kevin Samuels situation because what he's basically saying is all women need to subscribe to this, you know, society standard of beauty where you can't have any fat on your waist. You got to be a size 2 in order to attract men. And it's like, no, you have to find the type of men that are attracted to you and go for that. Now, if you're trying to get a man who's attracted to, you know, women who are a certain size and a certain shape, then yeah, go to the gym, do some work, get into that shape, you know? But, you know, if you want to be confident in who you are and live in your truth and be loved for exactly who you are, then find someone who's going to do that. This show wasn't diversified enough for that. So, yeah, I just don't like painting the broad strokes and telling women that, like, you know, you have to not have any belly fat or look a certain shape and stuff like that, because that's where it starts to get real toxic. And, you know, you start to body shame. And it's
I didn't say she needs to be in that shape. We're talking about, and this is why I'm saying, this is why men need to have this conversation with you guys. We're not saying you have to have that. We're talking about options. Like this is let's keep it 100% real. We're talking about how many options you're going to have. You want more men on the show who are going to like Tressa's body type? Guess what? In the real world, there aren't that many either. This is the whole point. The reason why you only had one Joel is because there is only few guys like that too in the real world. We have that same issue.
Coach, there are men that eat Tressa up like cake every day, all day. I don't think it's as minimal as you're saying that it is. It may not be what you are exposed to.
But the reason why they're not on the show is because there's not that many. There's not that many. That's what I'm saying to you. Why is it when men are telling you something, there's a dissonance? We are telling you this is how we think. Why are you questioning how men think?
I'm not questioning how men
We're
think.
not coming from your perspective.
I'm questioning you. I'm just talking to you because you can't speak for all men. I'm just asking you, right? Because you're the one that brought it up.
I know. Okay. So I'm giving you a male perspective.
I get it.
This is how we think. All right? This is how we think. It's unfortunate, but this is how we think.
Kojo, hear me out for 1 second. Tressa comes a dime a dozen in a lot of cities, like Houston, for example, and men love it. Love
I'm hearing you.
Love it. There's not a problem. This conversation isn't even happening. She's what they want. She's what they're attracted to. And she could probably even tell you, I've had a lot. She even said, like, so what is it about? Like, do you want to, is it just a sex thing? Because the girl ain't got no problems getting a man. So it's not as minimal as you think it is. We were just having that one conversation, and you probably saw our faces, because it does kind of get a little dicey. You know what I'm saying? These women on this show, I think for the most part, all of them are, maybe not all of them, most of them are mothers. So to sit up there and say that a mother, Vern's had 3 girls, Tressa has a son, some of the other ladies, Stacey has 3 kids. Really? We're going to talk about what their bellies should be looking like?
I didn't say that. I
It's
said
just-
about what's options and what's preferential. Again, you're misquoting what I'm saying.
I'm not
See,
trying
this
to
is-
misquote you.
No,
This is just what I
I have
heard.
to lay it for you so you understand what I'm saying to you. When you are talking about how you have a preference, discuss how you have a preference as a woman. When I'm letting you know how men think, we're not cussing you. We're saying this is how we think. So that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. How you think is not how we think.
Okay, so how about this? Let's ask Onu what he thinks, since he's the second male on the panel. We can hear from another male perspective. Is that okay?
Go for it. Go for it.
I agree. I mean, I agree with Coach has to say. I think the issue here is, for the most part, I think the issue here is it's like when guys are visual, are attracted to visual looks. So the key thing here is when people don't look the way we want them, how or what we feel was we're attracted to, how should we deal with those situations? Because if you go through the exit interview with the women, with the men saying they weren't attracted to, they didn't find her appeasing. They looked at her, they looked at her and they kind of like, oh, I'm going a different direction. Would it be better if they would have actually had a conversation, had a date, or actually got to know her as a person? Is that the bar we're trying to get to? Because if we keep things as based on, okay, looks, if I find you attractive, I go out with you. I don't find you attractive, I don't say anything to you. We're stuck in the same place. The problem here is like, when do we learn to get out of our comfort zones? And we can't look just like body positivity plays a bunch into it. That can't be the main reason why you find someone unattractive to. To me, that shouldn't be the number one reason. I listened to what David had this. Jason, David, and I think Asia, what they had to say. It just it boiled down to appearance. And if that's what we're basing it down to, people that look like Tressa are not going to have a chance. And honestly, every opportunity that you put yourself around people like that, you have to be at your best. Someone like Chrysanthemum, let's just go. Someone like Chrysanthemum, she can have like an average. She can just wake up out of bed, do whatever it is, average day, and guys can line up her left and right. Why is that? Because again, it's the visual appearance that most guys have to say. It sucks, and again, I think it boils down to what men are accustomed to look and see. And until we identify that and find a way to move past that, we're still going to talk in the same circles. And like, I don't know what else we can say.
Thanks, Onu.
I hear you guys. Oh, go ahead, Kenny. Go ahead.
Can I say something? I think there's a few things. There's a few. I'm listening. I'm like, yo, I'm so scared to get into this conversation, y'all.
Cancelled. You're gonna put me as Clever Junior.
Yo, I'm so scared to get into this conversation. I'm like, Kenny, you just like listen to this one. But okay, because I'm hearing different arguments and different points here. I'm hearing one that says if you're a plus size person, voluptuous person, you have slimmer pickings because of the way society standards are set. That's one. But to increase your chances, dress for your body so it looks more appealing. Is that what I'm hearing? That's kind of like two. I'm also hearing that there's a certain kind of voluptuous figure that even if you are voluptuous and even if you do dress for your body, there's a certain type of voluptuous figure that there's even a hierarchy. And I think curvy people would admit that the curvy women on the magazines aren't the everyday. It's hourglass. You don't have the apple shape. You don't have the rectangular shape. You don't like. There's a certain ideal curvy body that you do see even when you're seeing body positivity campaigns. And if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. It's like a flat stomach, blah 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 blah. So I'm hearing that too. Like even if you are even if you're curvy, whichever shape you are, and you do dress for your figure to increase your chances because society sucks, there is still a preference even within the type of curvy body you have. And unfortunately, if you don't have that, your pickings are slimmer. Is that what the guys are saying, Kojo and Ono? Have I missed anything that you're saying? Because I don't think I'm necessarily hearing you have to be a certain thing, but it's more so society sucks and curvy people aren't necessarily always accepted. So you guys are saying that's reality one. So to increase your chances, dress for your figure, so at least you can get folks in the door, to get to know your personality and dissuade them of shallow expectations.
Yeah.
And then the reality also, society sucks. There is a hierarchy of preference even within the kind of curvy body. Am I putting words in people's mouth? I just want to make sure I'm
You're good. You're good.
I think you're good.
okay. All right. I don't think there's an argument to win here. Society sucks.
Honestly, society sucks.
I don't think there's an argument to win here. Society sucks, and I do think. Here's my question. Here's one thing I want to add. The kinds of people that Tressa and Vernisha are attracted to, are they necessarily the folks that are attracted to them, the muscular guys who work out? Because a lot of times Tyler Perry has sold us a dream that the curvy woman will have no, that the very voluptuous woman will have this guy that is gymming it up, and it's this match made in heaven, when more often than not, the reality is a man that is a little softer would be attracted to a woman that's a little softer. And a man who's fitter would be attracted to this. Broad brushes, there's always exceptions. A man that is fitter will be attracted to a woman that is fitter, not just for aesthetics, but also for the lifestyle. Like, you want to be able to go running with this person, gymming with this person. Are there exceptions? Yes, because I've definitely heard men who are more muscular saying they don't want to be bumping a muscle. They want something warm and soft and gushy, and they want home. Society sucks. I think I agree with the whole fact that the cast wasn't as diverse as it could be. But then I also think if the cast was diversified, would the women be attracted to the men that would have been attracted to them? That's also the facts. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out of the conversation. Maria, you wanted to say something.
Go for it, Maria.
Yeah, I just think that we are broad stroking this whole conversation. I think that we are placing a lot of stereotypes on it. This is a reality TV show. However, in actual reality, I've seen guys who are cut up go for voluptuous women like Tressa. I've seen it all the time. So this perception that someone like Tressa doesn't deserve a guy who looks a certain way or is a certain way or has a certain aesthetic just is not true, And then, on the flip side, it's just this really toxic double standard because, men can be fat and ugly, okay, and require a woman to be pristinely beautiful and in shape and all this type of stuff, which baffles my mind all in itself. So I just think that if we want to talk in all of these generalities, that's one thing, but just understand that in actual reality, it's not always like that. Like, there are women, I literally see it all the time. There are women like Tressa who get married, who have husbands, and it doesn't mean that their husband is just as fat or whatever. There's a lot of diversity out there to be had, and I don't think that we need to brush it with a stroke. Now, if we're talking about a TV dynamic where they're trying to sell a certain image and push a certain narrative, like how they always do, because that's where we get our standards of beauty from, is the media, Okay. So they push these narratives onto us and we
Mhm.
eat it up. We think it's true. We ingest that. And then when we go out into the world, we wonder why it's hard for us to find healthy relationships because we're so caught up in the superficial messages that we're being fed.
Mhm.
And then we miss out on really great connections with people because we're so focused on physicality. That
Mhm.
means absolutely nothing to the quality of a person. The
So
value of a woman is not wrapped up in the size of her waist.
it's not value. I need to add this.
I
We
get I
never.
get what you're
The men
saying,
are.
Kojo. It's about initial attraction. But the
Yeah.
reality is that there are men who are initially attracted to, and I get it. Like there's so much, and Kenny, you summed it up very well. To get them in the door, you have to wear the right things, and all of that. I'm just saying that like there's just this immense amount of pressure put on women when we're having these types of conversations that it does get to be a little bit broad stroke ish, and we're not, really focusing on a lot of nuance in the situation.
So can I just say this? Women are hypocritical. I'll tell you why. When KG, yeah, wants to have a woman that pays more, you are quick to say sugar baby. You want, oh, this guy only wants a woman to pay for him. He's not trying to hold his own. You had no problem slewing and slicing him, even in the comments, women going at him. You have no problem. The markers for what a man should be are different to what a woman should be. You guys have no problem. If I said to you date somebody in McDonald's, you'd be looking at me like it's mad. Kenny was definitely not dating someone in McDonald's. Okay, her level was definitely above that, and I've got no beef with that, right? Because she has a standard. You can't try and flip it and say men are being a certain way, and we're valuing women on their looks, but you are valuing men by how much money they make in their pocket.
Some
When I said
women
KG
do, not
do
all.
50-50, no, wait. When I said KG do 50-50, y'all were looking at me like, what, 50-50? How are you going to be 50-50? Like, what kind of a man are you that want to do 50-50? What kind of man are you that want to pay on the first date? What kind of man are you that want to pay, you want to let someone else pay the bills? You have no problem coming at men for finances. It's not touchy then. It's only tetchy when we start talking about you. You have to be able to accept if you're talking about men, it has to go the other way. You cannot have it one way. You can't.
But
Because when we talk about
Kojo,
money, y'all are quick to make jokes and backs in the comment section, and you make it on here too. You got no problem. KG has been a butt of jokes on here all the time because he doesn't pay all the bills. And I've got no problem with that. I understand why you're cussing him. I understand why. I get it, right? You El Cheapo, exactly. Someone put there, El Cheapo. You have no problem saying my age is El Cheapo. There is no problem saying it, right? You have the platform to do so, but be ready when it comes back to you. Be ready when it comes back to you. You can't do this, oh, we can say something about you, but when it comes back to you, no, I can't say it. No, you got to have to take it. You have a standard.
I don't think that's what, look. So when we were talking about KG and like him trying to be sugar baby, like I didn't say all women think like that. Like you're the only one that was saying all men. I'm giving you the male perspective. All men think like this about women. I didn't say all women wants a guy who's going to be an all provider. I said I personally am not about that life, the 50-50. Well, I mean, it's not even about 50-50. It's more so about, are you going to, be a provider? And I'm not saying that, I'm never going to contribute to the financial situation. And so when I was making those statements or whatever, I never put it on all women because as you can see, you have Ambers of the world who are okay with that. And I even highlighted that in my statement. So don't try to paint the false narrative about what women are saying on this panel. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't say all men. I said this is how men think. And I'm telling you that their options are limited. They shrink when it comes to looks. It also, when you women are looking at men, you also judge men. You have a standard. We've had the conversation here before, and it hasn't not been a problem. You wouldn't date a guy at McDonald's. Tell me, no, Shanae, would you date a guy at McDonald's who works at McDonald's?
Does he own the franchise?
No. He works at McDonald's on the floor, cleaning the floor, girl. He's doing on the fries. He on the fries. He on the fries, sis.
I feel like you're
You
setting
flipping.
me up and you're taking this down a road that we weren't even supposed to be on. I, for one, never said nothing about KG and his paying half of the mortgage and all of that. What you not fixing to do is ensnare me, okay? It's late in the evening, but I'm still on point. Don't bring it over this way, Kojo. I was talking about something very specific, and now we done went all over. Now I'm over here on fries. I'm with the fry board.